I hope all of you are doing good. Let's start today's chapter, Simple and Compound Interest. Introduction. Often in times of needs, we borrow money from a friend or a bank or a money lender. We promise to return it after a specified period. When we return this money, generally we pay the money borrowed and some additional money for using the lender's money. This additional money we pay is called interest. Okay, definitions. Principal or sum, it is a money borrowed. Interest, the additional money paid for having used the lender's money is called interest. Amount, it is the money paid back to the lender at the end of the specified term. So symbolically we write A, that is amount is equals to principal plus interest, where A is equals to amount, P is equals to principal and I is equals to interest. Rate. Interest is often calculated in the form of a rate, that is R per unit of the principal. It is often expressed as a percent of the principal per year. Sometimes the rate of interest may be half yearly, quarterly or even monthly. Simple interest. If the principal remains the same for the entire loan period, then the interest is called a simple interest. Simple interest can be calculated by unitary method and also by using the formula. We shall explain this through some examples. Okay. Number 1, unitary method. Example, Akshay borrowed rupees 1500 from a friend at the rate of 12% per annum for 2.5 years. Find the interest and money paid by him at the end of 2.5 years. So here rate is 12% per annum. That means interest on rupees 100 for 1 year is equals to 12 rupees and interest on 1 rupee for 1 year is equals to 12 upon 100. So interest for 1500 for 1 year is 12 upon 100 into 1500. So interest for rupees 1500 for 2.5 year is what? 2.5 year is what? 2 into 2, 4 plus 1, 5 by 2 years. Okay. So this is the interest. So amount paid is 1500 plus 450, that is 1950. Okay. Number 2, using the formula. Interest is equals to P into R into T upon 100. In the examples of unitary method, we calculated the simple interest by multiplying P, the principal by R by 100, the rate and T, the time period. Thus, we can use this formula, where SI means simple interest, R means rate per annum and time in years. Whenever time is given in terms of days, we divide it by 365. Even in case of a leap year, this conversion is followed. So, also we get I, you know the formula I is equals to P into R into T upon 100 and 100 I is equals to P into R into 2. So, P is equals to 100 into I upon RT. Okay, R is equals to 100 into I means interest upon PT and T is equals to 100 into I upon PR. Okay, let's take example 1. A sum of rupees 2,700 was lent for 5 years at the rate of 15% per annum. Find the interest and amount. Okay. So here principal, that is P, is rupees 2,700. Okay. Rate is what? 15% and time is what? Time is 5 years. Now we have to find the interest as well as amount. So first let's find out the interest and the formula is P into R into T upon 100. Principal is 2,700. Rate is 15, time is 5 upon 100. Okay. So 27 into 15 into 5 is 75. 2025. This is the interest. Now we have to find the amount. Amount is what? Principal plus interest. Principal is 2,700 plus interest is 2025. So the total amount paid is what? 4,725. Okay, so this amount he has to pay. Okay, now let's do exercise 10.1. Find the simple interest when principal, rate and time is given. Okay, let's do the question number 1 of exercise 10.1. Principal is rupees 700. Okay, rate is 10% and time is 4 years. So simple interest is, you know the formula, P into R into T upon 100. Principal is 700, rate is 10, time is 4 upon 100. 7 into 10, 70 into 4, that is 280. This is the interest. Okay. Now compound interest. In money transactions, if the lender and the borrower fix up a certain time interval, say 3 months, 6 months or a year, so that the amount at the end of this interval becomes the principal for the next interval, then the total interest calculated over all the intervals is called the compound interest and written as CI. And CI is equals to amount minus principal. Okay. Conversion period or interest period. We have so far dealt with cases in which the interest was calculated on yearly basis, that is compounded annually. However, it is not necessary for the interest to be compounded only once a year. In fact, the banks calculate and add the interest to the principal every 6 months, that is half yearly or semi-annually. There are also financial organizations where interest is compounded every 3 months, quarterly, that is 4 times a year. Okay. The period at the end of which the interest is compounded is called the conversion period or interest period. Thus, the conversion period can be 6 months, 3 months and even a month. How can we calculate the compound interest if the conversion period is not 1 year? Whenever the conversion period is not specified, it is taken as 1 year. Okay. Now, formula for finding the compound interest. If the rate of interest is R% per annum, the interest on rupees P for 1 year is this. Rupees PR upon 100, and the amount after 1 year is what? P plus PR upon 100. Okay, from this we get this formula, P1 plus R upon 100. Okay, now this amount is taken as the principal for the second year. Therefore, interest for the second year is what? This formula into R by 100. So, amount at the end of second year is P in bracket 1 plus R upon 100 plus P 1 plus R upon 100 into R upon 100. So, from here we will get P in bracket 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power 2. So, considering this amount as a principal for the third year, we have interest for the third year. Okay, so what will you do? This formula plus R upon 100. Okay, so we will get this formula, that is P in bracket 1 upon R upon 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power 3. So, continuing in the same manner, we have amount at the end of n years is equals to P in bracket 1 plus R upon 100 n. Okay, here P is the principal, R is the rate per annum and A is the amount at the end of n years. Okay, and compound interest at the end of n year is what? Amount minus principal. Okay, so compound interest is equals to P, then in bracket 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power n minus P. Okay, that is P is equals to in bracket 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power n minus 1. Okay. Now, let us check out the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest, principal remains constant throughout. Compound interest, principal changes periodically. 2. For a given principal rate and time, it is generally less than the CR. And for a given principal rate and time, it is more than the SI, that is simple interest. However, for the first year, they are the same if compounded annually. Let us consider some examples. Example 1, find the compound interest on rupees 10,000 for 2 years and 5% per annum. Okay, principal is 10,000 rupees, rate is what? 5%, and time is 2 years. We have to find the compound interest. Okay, so principal for the first year is of course 10,000 and interest for the first year is rupees 500 when we will apply the formula of simple interest. Okay, now amount at the end of first year is 10,000 plus 500 is equals to 10,500. Now principal for the second year is 10,500. So interest for the second year is what? 525. Now amount at the end of second year is 11,025. So compound interest, how are we going to find it? Amount minus principal. This is the amount and principal is of course 10,000. So 1,025. This is the compound interest. Okay. Let's do exercise 10.2. Calculate the compound interest on rupees 2,000. This is principal, Okay, then rate you have 10%, and then time you have 2 years. We have to find the compound interest. First find the amount. The formula is this: 1 plus r upon 100 raised to the power n. 2000, 1 plus rate is 10 upon 100, time is 2 years, 0 0 goes. 2000, 11 upon 10 raised to the power 2. 2000 into 11 upon 10 into 11 upon 10, 0 0 goes. 20 into 121. 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 ones are 2. Okay, 2420. This is the amount. Now we have to find out the compound interest. Compound interest is amount minus principal. That is 2420 minus 2000 rupees. Rupees 420. This is the compound interest. Okay. Example 1. Find the compound interest on 10,000 rupees for 3 years at 10% per annum compounded annually. Okay. So principal is 10,000 rupees. Time is 3 years and rate is 10%. Okay. Now apply this formula. A is equals to P 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power n. Principal is 10,000. Rate is 10% upon 100. Time is 3. 10,000. 11 by 10 raised to the power 3. So 10,000 into 11 by 10 into 11 by 10 into 11 by 10. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 10 into square cube of 11 is 1, 3, 3, 1. So 1, 3, 3, 1, and then you'll write 1, 0. So this is the amount. Now we have to find the compound interest. Compound interest is what? Amount minus principal. So you will get this compound interest, that is 3,310. Okay. Exercise 10.3. In the following cases, calculate the compound interest and amount using the formula for compound interest. Okay. So here principal is given, which is rupees 5,000. Okay. Rate is 5% and time is 3 years. Okay. Compounded annually. Now let's find out the amount. This is the formula. Principal is 5,000. Rate is 5% and time is 3 years. 5,000. 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are 21 upon 20 raised to the power 3. So 5,000 into 21 by 20 into 21 by 20 into 21 by 20. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now 5 into 21 into 21 into 21 upon 2 into 2 into 2 is 8. Okay. So you will multiply all these numbers and then divide by 8. In this way you will get amount. And for finding compound interest, what will you do? You will subtract principal from amount. Okay. Amount, and the principal is 5,000 rupees. And after subtracting you will get your compound interest. Okay, students. Things to remember. The money borrowed from a bank or a money lender is called the principal. The additional money paid back for the use of money after a specified time period in addition to the principal is called the interest. 2. Total money paid back at the end of the specified period is called the amount. Thus, amount is equals to principal plus interest, or symbolically you can write it like this. 3. Interest on a given sum can be calculated by applying the idea of percent and unitary method. 4. If the principal remains the same throughout the loan period, then the interest calculated on this principal is called the simple interest. The formula for simple interest is this. 6. The time period after which interest is added each time to form a new principal is called the conversion period, and the interest obtained is called the compound interest. 7. If the conversion period is 1 year, the interest is said to be compounded annually. The conversion period can also be half yearly or quarterly. 8. In calculating the compound interest, we use this formula where A is equals to amount, B is equals to principal, R is equals to rate percent per annum, and N is equals to number of conversion periods. Okay, students, now you will do practice of this chapter.